trad wife content suddenly blowing up.
Because people my age that were traditional wives are getting divorced and realize that they threw 20 years of optional, available, could have been energy into the workforce, into their future. They threw that away doing laundry and watching their kids. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't trade staying home with my children for anything. However, I would have insisted on some sort of investment into my future, either by way of a 401k, an IRA, a home in my name, or I would have had to have some sort of side gig where I could have put that on a resume if anything happened to my husband or our marriage. And so people my age, women that are in their 40s and 50s, that have raised their children, who have been traditional wives, are coming forward and talking about the realities of that. Because someone like my grandmother, who couldn't have left her husband no matter what, because she went from high school and her parents into being a stay-at-home wife and mother, she could never have left, ever. And so I, being 51, I am like one of the first or second generations of women being traditional stay-at-home wives who are coming out and saying, don't do this to yourself. And so trad wife content is becoming super popular right now because what's happening is of women being traditional stay-at-home wives who are coming out and saying, don't do this to yourself. And so trad wife content is becoming super popular right now because what's happening is the trad wife is glamorizing staying home and being a homemaker and a stay-at-home mother, which again, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you talk about the fact that if your husband dies, you're screwed, like triple double screwed. I have a family member that if her husband died or left her tomorrow, she would be a stay-at-home wife, broke on her ass with 4 kids and no way to support herself. Or if he died, she's completely screwed. And for all of you out there that say, just marry a really good man, that's great and all, but what if you're sick of this really great man? What if he dies? What if he becomes like incapable of going to work? It's not that trad wife content is extremely popular right now. Everyone's being mean. What's happening is that we are the second generation of women coming forward to say, quit being so goddamn stupid and protect yourself. Everyone's being mean. What's happening is that we are the second generation of women coming forward to say, quit being so goddamn stupid and protect yourself. 50% of marriages end in divorce. And while he's making $100,000+ a year, you have no skills, no career, no resume, nothing. Except for kids and a dog and God knows what else. You'll be living in an apartment while he's got his new 20-something in his penthouse or the family home. So good luck.
Listen, there's a lot of people.
What's going on social media? What's going on? Just got done working out. And look, I want to preference this by saying this, all right? I'm going to give a disclaimer at the front of the video, okay? Not necessarily about trad wife. Just, I don't know what's going to come out my mouth this morning. Right? I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm on pre-workout. I'm not exactly in the nicest mood. You know what I mean? So I might be a bit of an unhinged dick this morning. All right? But I got some thoughts I got to get out before I even get started on this topic within itself. Look, I'm not faking my personality for no one. All right? I'm not switching up none of my shit. I'm not finna, I'm not finna tailor my message down. I'm not gonna talk softer for you bitches. I'm not. You know what I mean? I can't always, look, when I say some nice shit, that's some shit that I mean authentically. When I say some dickhead shit, that's some shit I mean authentically. Listen, my kid is on my snap, right? I'm gonna speak my mind regardless of who the fuck I'm around, all right? Either she gonna hear it for me or she gonna hear it for some nigga outside, all right? Not only that, but I'm not finna sit there and be less man for anybody, all right? First thing is first. Listen, I'm not finna pretend I don't like pussy. Like, take that however the fuck you want to take it, all right? The shit that get me mad sometimes is that It's like y'all want men to be men. Y'all want men, but when men start acting manly, it's like, nah, I don't fuck with that. Like, I'm not finna pretend that I don't like women. Like, or I don't like sex. I'm not finna pretend I don't like sex. I'm not finna fake none of it. Like, I'm not gonna, like, tailor the message for you. Like, look, I'm a person that's an open-minded individual. I really am. But what I can't stand is when I don't get that same energy back. Not only that, but when a motherfucker keep asking me to speak my mind on a topic or subjects or just things in general, just for y'all to get offended and upset. Listen, if you gonna be the motherfucker that have to go in the corner for 2 days and tuck your shit and your feelings, then do that. Alright? I can't sit there and tap dance around everything you may feel about what I may say or think or believe in. I'm my own man. I'm not gonna sit there and pretend to not be the man that I am because it makes you motherfuckers upset. Get over it. Like, one thing I always respected about my dad, regardless of how foul his mouth was, he was the person he always was. And maybe that's something that's bled off onto me, but I'm not finna sit there and pretend to be this holier than thou, content creator. All right? My shit is not for children. So whether you, like, I'm not gonna, like, tailor the message or pretend, or I'm an authentic individual. I'm big on that. I'm big on being myself. Like, I'm not going to pretend I don't like wrestling. I'm not going to pretend I don't like the rap music that I like. I'm not going to pretend I don't like titties. I'm not going to pretend I don't like ass. Like, you fit yourself in that narrative however you want, right? Again, I'm an open-minded individual. I'm open to talking. Not only that, but I'm not finna like back down from the man message. You know what I mean? It's like y'all be wanting a nigga to like talk, and then when the shit get too manly, that y'all ain't fucking with that. You know what I mean? Y'all not fucking with the man message. Y'all not fucking with the shit that, it's like y'all like masculinity, but y'all want the masculine shit the way you want it. All right, so I just had to get that off my chest first before I start talking about this shit. Because I can't stand when motherfuckers do one-sided shit to me or in their feelings or shit be bothering them and I'm upset. It sits with me funny. Listen, your punk ass need to have an open mind. I don't know how else to tell it to you. Like, and I'm not always going to be in the mood to be like, oh, well, it's okay. Like, nigga, no. Because don't nobody do it to me. Don't nobody cut me no slack. So it's like, sometimes I have trouble doing that with other people because no one ever cuts me a break. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers ask me for money all the time. I don't ask other people for shit. Like, motherfuckers come to me with problems all the time. I don't come to motherfuckers with problems. I'm the problem solver. So, again, that's one of those things with me. I'm learning to express myself more. You know what I mean? So I don't walk around with whatever this is all day. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not faking it. I'm not going to pretend to not be me. You know what I mean? Either you learn to compromise, or we can have a discussion or whatever. We can be adults about it, but I'm not finna be less man for nobody. Like, I'm not no pansy ass nigga. I'm not none of this shit on the internet. I'm not none of this touchscreen shit y'all be subscribing to. Now, on to more fun stuff. Because it's Friday, goddammit, and thank God. Now, Trad Wife was some shit that came introduced to me through my girlfriend. She was the one that I first heard mention it, or at least it came from her side of the algorithm, I would say. And if you ask me what I think of Trad Wife, the first thing that comes to me immediately is the, traditional wife, right? Look, I think there's a couple halves to this situation within itself. Like, one, traditional wives are a thing that's fading out, right? What I mean is, it's a lot of women bucking that whole staying in the home with the kids thing. Mostly because, a lot of niggas are shooting them in the foot. But not only that, but y'all like getting your independence, cool, no big deal. And I think this is a lot of times where we all get crossed up at, because a lot of y'all want to be, want the title of wife, but y'all don't want the duties of wife either. But that's neither here nor there. Not only that, but I think a lot of modern women treat housewives like sellouts. Like, oh, you want to listen to your husband? Like, seen a lot of that on the internet, right? Listen, this is a sector of fucking social media I don't come to often. But I came across this video one day on a live load, and I thought it was very interesting. It's really like an 8-minute clip, but I broke it down into 4 because that is way too much shit to upload. So, whatever, man. Let's get into it. Fuck it. Now, I do want to preface this by saying the woman in the side, the girl that is reacting to this clip, right? I do have that clip, so if you do want it, I can send it to you, like, for the most part, right? But when I think of trad wife, the first thing that comes to my mind is my own mom, right? Now, would I call my mom a trad wife to some degree? To some degree, yes, because she did do a lot of the, when I was younger, I was closest to my mother, you know what I mean? Because my daddy was on bullshit, you know what I mean? And my mom was a very kind person. She taught me a lot of compassion. She taught me a lot of kindness. Like, my mom was a very kind person. But on the other half of that, my mom also has like a very explosive temper. If you ever, she done found Jesus now. So, it takes a lot to get there. But I've seen my mom snap. I've seen my mom really lose her cool. I remember one time my dad came home drunk. I don't know what the fuck he was on. He was just on bullshit that day, right? And my mom used to have this big clay vase in the fucking corner. You can see where I'm headed with this, right? My dad used to come home drunk, being on dumb shit. He came home drunk one night and tore all her stuff apart because he was just drunk and being on fuckery. Like, I might have been like 14, 15, but I remember this shit vividly, right? He tore all my mama's stuff up. He tore the whole house apart. He flipped the couch, broke the mirrors, all the other shit. He just was on fuckery that night, right? My dad, oh my God, my dad's an arrogant piece of work. This nigga sits down on the couch and turns on NASCAR like ain't shit happened. My mom took that big clay elephant and cracked it right across the top of his head. She took that, and the clay elephant was one of the motherfucking one of them clay things that was like, okay, the diameter on the inside, it was like an inch thick. So the way the whole clay thing was made, it was like the whole thing on the inside was about an inch. It was a pretty big, good sized elephant. It was a big clay elephant. I'll never forget it. It's a white and gold elephant. She dropped that shit right on his motherfucking head. He's like, damn, Sue, what the fuck? Like, she was like, you not finna come in my house and break up all my shit and think you finna just, you know what I mean? That's the first thing I think of when it comes to trad wife, where it's like, I do think that there is that a lot of traditional women have a point. Like, because I come from a family of men that feel like it's okay to cheat on their wives. My daddy's side does a lot of that. Now, when she talks about investment into her future, right? I do remember a lot of that. My mom's been a lunchroom lady since I might have been about 10 years old. Anybody that's ever been to like Jeff Davis High School or is watching this is from the same town. My mom has been a lunchroom lady for the longest. Like, most people in town know my mom because they've been either through the middle school or whatever, and she's still been there to this day, right? My dad, on the other hand, has done all these construction jobs. He's one of them people, he's real good with his hands. Like, knows how to run a loader, knows how to drive a truck, you know what I mean? Knows how to, do the cherry picker, has run for Lumber City Egg. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. It's fine, right? But my mom spent most of her time in the lunchroom. Now, my mom, when she told me she was younger, right? She was like, I was in the military, and when I met your dad, he kind of basically derailed all of that for the most part. Like, and I wasn't there for a lot of that, but my mom was in the Army. She used to, I think she said she used to run like a full flat, which is crazy being how short she is. But she told me, she's like, yeah, I used to have like I think like a male position job where she did paperwork and everything. She was really on top of her shit. My dad comes in the picture, fucks all of that up. My God. But what I'm saying is my mom and dad get married at some point or another, right? I think I came before all of that. Cool. What I'm saying is this. My mom put a lot of herself into that marriage. My mom and my dad have been separated for 8 years now. Like, my dad is one of them kind of people. He won't divorce my mom. Like, my mom's found Jesus and she hasn't moved on, but my dad's been fucking other women. You see where I'm going with all this? So it's like, I can see a woman really being on some type of shit where it's like, look, I need a little something for myself. You know what I mean? I can see why a woman would feel like I can't depend on no man for real. Like, look, I talk a lot of man shit, but again, I'm someone that comes from a very open-minded perspective, and I can see shit from both sides. Like, I like the idea of duality. I'm not one of them people that makes content that's just like, oh, fuck women, it's all about men. I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? So I can understand why a woman would feel some type of way about marrying a dude and then not putting anything aside for herself. Now, when she says 50% of marriages end in divorce, she's not bullshitting. She's not bullshitting, not one bit. Listen, at some point or another, I don't believe in this fake shit motherfuckers be on. What, like, okay, I don't just subscribe to the notion of like, oh, we're gonna be together forever and nothing's ever gonna go wrong. That's not real life. Motherfuckers break up, motherfuckers fall out, motherfuckers have issues. And listen, at the end of the day, everybody's an individual. You know what I mean? And most marriages do end in divorce, which is personally one of the reasons why I don't fuck with it. Like, it's not so much that I don't like the idea of the marriage. I don't like the idea of divorce. You know what I mean? I've been through a divorce before. I've paid for a divorce before, right? And I'm telling you, I'll put it like this, right? Had my baby mama been smarter when I went and did that shit, I'd still be paying alimony now. It's just, I was smart enough to quit my job before I fucking went and filed that paperwork. Like, not only that, but when it comes to the paperwork side of things, most girls are not trying to get involved with all of that. Like, you're not trying to get involved. Y'all don't care about the logistics of shit. I think this is where a lot of times y'all slip up at, because y'all either get caught up in the being the wife and the mother, or y'all just want to have fun and go on the vacations and the trips. Versus like a guy that's more so like career driven, career focused, knows his logistics. Because here's the thing with us, right? A lot of times on our end, we have to deal with the fault. So we're like a guy. If a guy's a husband and he cares about you, there's a big part of him that's accountable for the shit that's happening in real time. So it's like, even if you're living in a house, he knows the paperwork. Even if we're living, if we have a car, he knows the cars, and he knows, your tire size. He knows what mechanic to take it to. He knows what oil goes into it. Y'all don't give a fuck about none of that. Y'all just be in the motherfucking shit hanging out and just wanting the shit to be blissful. I think sometimes that's where y'all fuck up a lot of times. Is that y'all don't be wanting to get involved with shit that y'all are not necessarily interested in. You think it's all about you for the most part. So you fall into this narrative of believing this fairy tale. Again, not saying love is a bad thing, but what I'm saying is this: you cannot fall in love to the point where you're stupid to think that nothing's ever gonna happen. Like, for real, mention a prenup to most women and see what happens. Like, mention the word prenup to most women and see what happens. Again, a lot of y'all have this fairy tale, and if the shoe fits, wear it. If it don't, it don't. But like, really sit down and think, like, okay, when a man brings up a prenup, a lot of y'all are like, hell no, what the fuck? I'm not signing no prenup. I'm not doing no shit. Like, bitch, are you stupid or something? Like, okay, the same motherfuckers that don't want to sign a prenup are the same people that believe they can drive a car without insurance. Like, just because you don't need it immediately doesn't mean you will not need it at some point. Like, that, okay, a prenup is one of those things you probably need to revisit every couple years to be like, hey, do you still feel the same way about all of this shit? Like, because you gotta think, motherfuckers are individuals. Women and men have different needs. Again, I'm not someone that believes in cheating on a wife. I don't like the idea of it. I don't believe in cheating on a girlfriend. I don't believe about lying about one another pussy. Like, when I look back on a lot of those situations between me, my mom and my dad, a part of me doesn't respect a lot of shit my dad did, because if he just wanted to fuck a bunch of other bitches, he could have just told my mama that and then left it alone. You know what I mean? But most men on my dad's side of the family, they fell into the notion of like, oh, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna just cheat and do some old bullshit. I got an uncle, right? Not gonna mention his name because you're gonna know who the fuck I'm talking about, or may or may not, right? And my uncle has been married to his wife about 30-something years, right? Now, my uncle on my dad's side of the family, who will remain nameless, right? Every time he come around the cookout, okay, they would be the more so the picture perfect family image, if that makes sense, right? Listen, I remember one time when I was at my mama's house, right? My uncle and one of these young boys get into a fight. Now, my uncle, like most men on my dad's side of the family, you know what I mean? Most men on my dad's side of the family, they're real, like, loud and bombastic shit-talking niggas. But my uncle on my dad's side of the family ain't like that, the uncle that I'm talking about. He's real even-keeled, chill, level-headed, think shit through. This motherfucker almost stabbed some young dude with a knife outside my mama's house, right? And I'm sitting here wondering why this happening. Come to find out, the young boy he gets into a fight with is the nephew of the crackhead aunt that he's fucking. Like, so again, I don't believe or fuck with the notion of the cheating. I don't like the idea of cheating. Listen, getting other pussy is not something you need to lie about. Like, you sit the woman down and you tell her, like, look, I want this, and either this is gonna happen, or we probably need to move on from each other. Y'all, a lot of y'all have this thing where y'all are not real with yourselves about what's really happening in real time. Y'all don't want to come to the table and have hard conversations. Y'all want to pretend and act as if the shit's not going on when it's going on. Know what I mean? And I watch a lot of trad wives, quote unquote, go through that. Like, look, most men cheat to some degree. People cheat. I'm not going to say most men. People cheat. You know what I mean? It's just that men kind of get put with it's almost synonymous with the man. But that's a debate for another time, right? What I'm saying is this. The men that cheat, a lot of times do not leave their wives. Like, and a lot of that cheating, or, you know, the trad wife, when it comes to the trad wife thing, like, I think women that have been in long-term marriages leave because most men don't believe in raising kids like the same way a mother does, or either they cheat and the woman's not going to sit there and tolerate it, right? I watched my mom go through this. So, I mean, it's one of those things I have firsthand experience with, right? But again, I think a lot of y'all need to come to the table, like, and have a real serious conversation about what's really happening in your marriages. Like, because here's the thing. Being a man is one of those things, it don't shut off. Like, I can't be less man for you. Any man that's a man can't be less man for you. Like, the notion that a nigga want to either one fuck another bitch, like titties, is into sex, that don't shut the fuck off because you feel like it does. Like, it doesn't switch off because you feel like it should. It's not going to be one of those things like, oh, well, he don't like sex. A lot of women in their marriages get to a point where they don't want to fuck. Like, or they check out, or, you know, I don't feel like it. Meanwhile, the dude is sitting here with all this testosterone. And listen, testosterone is the thing. You see me doing this? It's a constant. It's like electricity. It's like the sun. It's like the energy. Testosterone is what makes the world spin. Because here's the thing. Women don't approach men. Men approach women. Men have to approach women. Men have to set up the date. Men have to set up the situation. They have to plan. Like, testosterone is the shit that pushes all of that. So to think that your pussy is going to be enough to shut all of that off. Like, okay, you're going to go in a corner, not feel like fucking, and then think a nigga's supposed to just be like, all right, I'm never going to either jack my dick or look at other women. That is nuts. Like, I'm not saying it to be disrespectful. I'm saying y'all need to look at men in a realistic lens. Like, not like, okay, y'all get caught up in the feelings of shit. Like, oh, I feel like he should do this. I feel like he should only look at me. I feel like he should never watch porn. Look, bitch, either you gonna be the porn or you need to bring another woman or what? Like, I'm not saying every guy thinks like that. But I'm saying the sexuality and the testosterone of a man is something that seriously needs to be addressed in your marriages. Same thing with the logistics and the paperwork and everything that's going on. Take a look at your situation in real time, motherfucker. Like, okay. Again, with the trad wife thing, I think a lot of y'all get caught up in the fairy tale. Like, you like how it feels to be a wife. You like how it feels to be protected and how it feels to be loved. All of that shit is great, but it's the frosting on top of a cake. It's surface level shit. Because here's the thing about, you know, a dude, like, being a man is not something you can suppress. Like, okay, testosterone don't give a fuck about your feelings. Like, whether, like, oh, it's like, I can't be less man to make you feel better about you. Like, I'm a man at the end of the day, and that shit does not switch off, right? Not only that, but the older I've gotten, the more into being a man I'm leaning into. Like, listen, I had a mother in my life, so I'm very compassionate and understanding of most people. If I didn't have my mom and it was only my dad, I'd still be out here fucking now. Because put it like this, right? I got a cousin that's a serial polygamist. And I always joke about it, but my cousin is the type of nigga that got a different bitch in his bed every week. Like, I don't live like that. And I don't think that's wrong to live like that. But it's one of those things where he tried to be in a situation in a marriage with a woman long term, and it got to a point where like a motherfucker just, I don't feel like it. I'm not sure. You're making me upset. This bothers me. It's like a nigga don't work this hard to put a roof over your head to not fuck. Like, or to be disrespected or to like be talked to some type of way. You know what I mean? Like, a dude don't work hard for all of that to not have the shit he want in his life. Whatever job you work, think about it like this. Whatever job you work, some man built that business. Like, I'm not saying women can't be business owners or not business owners. But most businesses you see or you're a part of, or like, take your car, for example. A dude got up and built that. The road you drive on, some man built on that. Now, on the flip side, a woman gave birth to the man that built a lot of that shit. But what I'm saying is testosterone makes you do shit. Now, something else I want to address, right? Women leaving relationships. Now, here's the thing. Your feelings, a lot of times is the catalyst to a bunch of dumb shit that happens in your life. Meaning, like, I'm not saying your feelings are never valid. All right? I'm not saying to not feel feelings. I'm not saying having feelings is wrong. What I'm saying is question it a little bit, right? You can't go, like, what I see a lot on social media, right? And I know social media ain't real life, but we're just going with the narrative here, right? What I see a lot on social media is women breaking up happy homes because they're just simply not getting the things that they want based on the unrealistic standards that they have, right? Again, if your nigga's whooping your ass, that's one thing. If your nigga's cheating on you and like getting the next door neighbor pregnant, that's one thing. If a motherfucker is fucking up finances and putting y'all in debt, like, and y'all are barely, and I mean like a motherfucker got a gambling problem, got a drug problem, abusive to kids, like, y'all be leaving men for little shit is what I'm saying. Hey, because, like, okay, y'all be leaving men because motherfuckers won't tell you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? As a guy, you cannot sit there and you can't build a marriage in a long-term situation on being someone that you're not. Which means even if you're a motherfucker that like to fuck, you need to tell a motherfucker that like to fuck. Like, if you're a motherfucker that likes to gamble, you need to be able to go gamble. Like, if you're a motherfucker that likes to lift weights, you got to lean into lifting weights. If you're a motherfucker that wants to build a business, you got to lean into building a business. But y'all be breaking up with motherfuckers over dumb shit. Like, because a motherfucker didn't tell me what I felt like I should have heard that day. I'm tired of him being verbally abusive. Listen, unless a motherfucker's in your face all the time cussing you the fuck out, it's almost like, okay, when y'all use the word narcissist, right? Every time a motherfucker don't tell you what you want to hear, that does not make him a narcissist. Now, I want to talk about careers, right? Here's the thing about being a guy. In comparison, being a woman, y'all are not burdened with the metric of being a builder. Y'all, like, okay, y'all are the beauty standard, right? So all you gotta really do is be cute and not be a fucking cunt bitch, and a nigga probably help you out. Like, you know what I mean? Being a man, on the other hand, whole different ball game, right? I can be charming. I can be funny. I can be charismatic. You know what I mean? I can be all those things, right? But if I tell a motherfucker I don't have a job, like, go to a bar as a man and tell a woman you don't have a job. Like, watch how fast her mood and conversation and how fast that conversation ends, right? You can be a woman and not have a job and be attractive as a motherfucker. A nigga will put a roof over your head, right? Again, when y'all are angry at motherfuckers for moving on and, oh my God, he took everything from me. Listen, bitch. A lot of y'all spend y'all lives wanting to have fun. That's the most shit I see on social media. Most girls want to, and again, talking about a very specific niche of women. Either you fit into this or you don't. A lot of y'all just want to have fun, go on vacations, go party. I want to live my best life. I don't ever want to be shackled down. I want to do what the fuck I want to do. Listen, it takes a certain amount of money and a lot of motherfucking backing to live a life like that. And the thing with being a man is you understand that no matter how good you look, Listen, one thing I noticed about being a man is that at some point we either the things that make us attracted to women is not necessarily the look. Look, I'm gonna get old at some point, right? But I'll always be a funny, charismatic nigga. Like, I'll always be a shit talking. Like, my personality is gonna always be my personality. Like, whether I'm gray or not. Like, that don't, like, okay, I know the same shit that a motherfucker hate about me is the same shit a motherfucker love about me. Which is why I lean so hard into it. Like, okay, I'm a little bit toxic for a reason, right? Because I know that's the same shit that makes me attractive, right? Like, okay, the duality between me being a very kind person and me being a fucking asshole is almost whiplash to the point which I can switch between the two. You know what I mean? And that don't go away. As a guy, the older you get, the better you get with that, right? A lot of y'all women that are married, you're married to a guy that's older than you. You're not married to some dude that's younger than you. Like, so not only that, but like, you know, when you're younger in your 20s as a guy, you party and bullshit. We do go through a bit of that. Like, you know, we party, bullshit, chase the women. But the older we get, the more you start to realize, like, all right, this shit ain't really what it's cracked up to be. Your perspective towards sex changes, you know what I mean? And you realize that, look, I need a little bit of money about myself and a little bit of career. Not necessarily to pull women, but more so just, you know, to make sure I have a lifestyle that I need. Now, the problem with a lot of y'all women is y'all feel like because you get upset at a nigga for whatever the fucking reason, or y'all fall out for whatever reason, that a nigga's supposed to give you all this shit that you feel you deserve when you had the chance to build the same thing. You know what I mean? I'm going through a class right now trying to just get an LLC or just, you know, trying to get I'm at the point now where I want to work for myself because I'm sick of driving this fucking truck. Like, I'm good at truck driving, but I don't have a passion for truck driving. I just do it because it's my job. But eventually, as life goes on, if you keep involving yourself with people that want to build businesses, want to do more, build more, you begin to develop as a man and begin to develop a career. Not saying a woman don't do that, but when you're a trad wife, you are betting on this man. Like, okay, a lot of you motherfuckers don't want to work and then get mad when a nigga build his career and leave your ass. Like, just based on the fact that y'all are not going to be together. Like, okay, that man's life didn't stop because you chose to not be in it. Does that make sense? It's one of the reasons why I say if you want the lifestyle, stick with the man. Like, okay, the way divorces be set up, when y'all divorce a man, right? Y'all, like, okay, you're taking... I don't like the notion, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of niggas agree with me on this. I don't like the notion that a motherfucker can just wake up one day, not feel like being in the marriage or not feel like being in the relationship, think they're going to take my house, cars, and everything that I work for and children. You know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking, I don't like the idea of that. Like, I don't believe in leaving with a woman with nothing. I personally don't believe in that. I don't want to leave. Look, if I ever get to a point where I start making six figures, I'm going to write out a will and shit's going to go to this person. Shit's going to go to this person. Shit's going to go to this person. It'll be my girlfriend, my daughter, my mom, my sister. Those are the 4 women that'll all be divided between, because at some point, if I start making too much money, a motherfucker might blow my head off or I might drop dead from a heart attack. All right? But y'all women, on the other hand, live life as if none of that shit can happen. Like, okay, I'm not saying that women are not smart. I'm not saying y'all are not smart. I don't want that to come across the way. Y'all just don't think about life from a logistic standpoint to think that, okay, this could happen. This could happen. Like, okay, y'all are afraid of men in the sense of what they might do to you. You're not afraid of, like, what could happen. And, like, okay, you almost don't take your own life seriously because y'all be wanting to put shit on easy mode. It's like, I don't want to work. Like, I don't want to go to work. I don't feel like paying bills. I want to be a stay-at-home wife. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be cool with what come with it. Not only that, but have your life structured and set up in that way in case this shit don't work. Like, again, different strokes for different folks. I'm not pushing the measures on anybody. But I'm saying, if you're going to be a stay-at-home wife and you are betting on your husband to, like, pay bills and everything, y'all better have a plan between each other on what happens in case this shit go left. Because there's a chance, listen, 30 years, 40 years is a long time for some shit to not happen. Like, I don't even really wrap my mind around the notion that a motherfucker won't do shit to me. Like, I don't believe in that because I don't sit there and, like, have this fake notion of, like, oh, no, my girlfriend will never do nothing. A motherfucker motherfucker would never fuck me over. Another motherfucker would never cross me. I would hope that a motherfucker wouldn't cross me, but what happens in case they do? I think of shit like that, right? But a lot of y'all do not think of life in that lens. It's like, oh, I love my husband, and he'll never do none of that. Sweetheart, here's the thing, and you may or may not fit into this notion, just in general, right? At some point, you are going to become a cunt bitch, whether y'all don't think, well, I guess a better way to phrase it is this. I guess women, for the most part, y'all don't think that none of your actions are going to affect the man to the point where he's going to like fall out with you or not give a, because I think men sometimes slowly fall out of love with women just based on the shit that y'all be doing. Like, you got to look at it like this. You get older, you get less attractive, you know what I mean? And not saying that, you know, a motherfucker don't love you, but it's like, if you're getting older and then you still doing stupid shit, and it's like, you start to look at this motherfucker after a while, like, why the fuck am I with this bitch? Because, like, okay, for a guy to be with you long term, it has to make sense for him to be there. Like, okay, you can be less attractive, you can get older, you can gain weight. But if you're a kind, pleasant woman and you're supportive and loving, a motherfucker's more likely to stick with that than a motherfucker that get old, fat, and think she be a cunt bitch, and because we married, think a nigga finna stay and not fuck the neighbor. You are crazy if you think a mother bitch will not ever take your spot. You're nuts. Because one thing I am seeing, like, on the social media that is like a common trend is that a lot of men do not like y'all. Like, listen, women sometimes don't like men, but I think men almost kind of dislike women a little bit more, just based on the shit on social media. I could be wrong. That's just the take I'm giving based on the things I'm seeing. That niggas are sick of the shit you bitches is on. Okay, the thing I hear from a lot of, like, my friends, like, for instance, my cousin that's a polygamist, he's like, bro, I will never take another bitch serious. Like, I will never get into another relationship where a woman gets to a point where she don't want to fuck or want to get disrespectful. Like, okay, because my cousin, he had, like, you know, his ex-girlfriend had, like, 5 kids that he took on himself. He cussed out all the baby daddies. He's done damn near shot niggas behind this girl, trying to be the supportive nigga to her, and then she gets to a point where she don't want to put out, and it's like, you start looking at this bitch like, what? Like, I done all this shit, and here you are acting funny and disrespecting me? It's like, okay, you got to think about it, like, from the guy's perspective. Are you the juice worth the squeeze? Like, are you worth all this fucking trouble? Like, because the way men's brains work, it's like, okay, if this shit don't make sense for me to be here, or for me to keep fucking with this motherfucker, I'm not going to keep doing it. And the thing about guys is, y'all can get as much money, you can acquire status, all the other bullshit. A nigga do not give a fuck if he do not like your ass. Like, you ever met a man that didn't like you? It's very apparent when a man doesn't like you. Like, you will feel like he is your worst enemy. Like, you will feel like he's your op when a nigga gets sick of your ass. Like, that's not an energy you want around you. Because the thing about being a dude is, we are not wired with all that give a fuck that y'all have. like, okay, think about it like this. A man cares about a woman from the perspective of, like, it's partially the right thing to do. Like, it's half love, half the right thing to do. Meaning, like, we love y'all emotionally, but we don't love y'all emotionally. Does that make sense? Like, we're there because it logically makes sense for me to be there. Like, and you do love your woman. You do love, like, it's like you love a motherfucker, but it's not it's not the same amount of butterflies that y'all get. So when you piss a nigga off to the point where he stop fucking with you, like, I remember when I got divorced, right? Because I planned my divorce probably 3 years before I actually did it. Probably 3-4 years. And I remember telling everybody, I remember telling my mom, I remember telling my sister, I'm like, I'm done with this bitch. Like, I'm done with it. Like, at least on a let's be married level. Like, I had done moved to Florida. Like, she would get her, like, she would try to, like, do little shit. She'd get herself thrown out her mom's house to try to get me to stay, try to get me to come down there and get her. I was like, no, but I'm not helping you. Like, I'm telling you, when it came to my baby mama, when I checked out on that bitch, I checked out for real. Like, so much so to the point where it's like I had to almost, like, once it got to the point where, like, it was like physical violence and all this other dumb shit happening, and a motherfucker kept fucking up money and put me in these bad situations, me being naive, being involved, you know what I mean? when you as a guy check out on a woman, there ain't shit she can do about it. I mean, it's the same way the other way around. But I'm saying, like, it's almost like you look at this motherfucker like she is your op. Like, fuck this bitch. Fuck her breathing. Fuck who she know. Fuck her family. Fuck if she has cancer. Fuck if she dies of AIDS. I'm telling you, I'm being serious. Like, fuck if she loses a limb. Fuck her in general as a human being. Like, when you get to a point where you check out on a bitch, you check out. And a guy doesn't have that thing in him where he's like, I just hope we're friends and I hope we get along. When a nigga can't stand you, a nigga can't stand you. And a lot of y'all don't realize when you're pushing it to that point, because just in your brain, it's all about you. Versus like a guy that has to survey the entire situation. I'm telling you, being an understanding, open-minded individual gets very old when you're the only one doing it. Because people call me all the time, what motherfuckers do to me, people call me all the time, bombard me with their shit. Motherfuckers call me all the time, hey, I got something to talk about. I need this, I need money. And look, I'm cool with helping the motherfuckers I'm helping, but I'm telling you, it gets old. It gets older than Moses. It gets to a point where you be looking at the phone ring. Like, all right, I'm not answering. Motherfucker text you, I'm not answering. Because I'm not finna let a motherfucker keep siphoning off shit and then not you gotta give that same energy back to a motherfucker. Because I do have like guy friends, and I can think of at least 4 off the top of my head, and every one of them, I got a cousin that is sick of his wife. I got another homeboy that is tired of his wife. I got another homeboy, it's like, bro, I'll never get married again. Niggas is tired of y'all. Now look, nothing wrong with being a traditional wife. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's a cool thing. Listen, it's some of the most beautiful shit when it works. One of the things I like to see sometimes is like an old couple in a store that's been together, or either they could have met last week, but I'm gonna assume they've been together forever, right? Couples that grow old together. We are in a generation now where motherfuckers are not gonna grow old together. But to see 2 old people in a store, or like an older guy that's like in his 50s, 60s, and he's with his wife, you know what I mean? That's a comforting thing to watch, because it kind of still gives hope that there is actual love in the world. You know what I mean? And and it feels very good to see an older couple in the store, and they've been together, and I mean really see that synergy between them two, and it really work. You know what I mean? Personally, I get mad sometimes, but I wouldn't go back out there. I get angry sometimes, but I care about my girlfriend too much. I really do. Even if she pisses me the fuck off, you know what I mean? I care. I do care. It's just the thing that gets me sometimes is that I can't always. I'm not finna fake to be someone that I'm not. I'm not finna be less man. I'm not gonna pretend I don't like to fuck. I'm not finna pretend I don't like raunchy shit. I am who I am. I'm Ronell Jackson Williams Jr. That's who I am. And the older I've gotten, the more I've learned to lean into that, and I double down on me being the person that I am. Listen, when I go to a club or I go to a party and they're playing pop music, and a motherfucker tell me to dance, I don't dance. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift or none of the songs she sings. Listen, I'm glad I wasn't drunk at that Lloyd Banks concert. I'm glad I wasn't drunk, and I'm glad I wasn't 17, because I probably would have really turned the fuck up to a level that I don't know if I could have came down from, because I fuck with the hood shit that much. If I ever go to a wrestling thing, I don't think I know how, when okay, this is gonna sound silly, right? When Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns at motherfucking WrestleMania 40 after the 4-year build, that was some of the that was a moment for me. Because I had invested in that story for 4 years, right? But these are things that are authentic to who I am as a person. And I don't know how to switch that off for you and tell anybody the shit they want to hear, or pretend to be a man that I'm not, or pretend I don't like kinky ass porn. I'm not doing that. You listen, I think a lot of these motherfuckers that shoot up schools and shoot up fucking places okay, the motherfucker that tried to shoot Donald Trump, I think that was just a dude that wasn't getting no ass. Because why throw your life away why throw your life away like that when you fucking, if you getting your rocks off, why am sit on top of a roof and try to kill the president if I'm getting my dick sucked every day? Hey, or if I'm getting my rocks off like I need to, or if I'm understood. Like, these are just hurt individuals trying to hurt other individuals. But anyway, being a trad wife, sweetheart, lady, whoever the fuck is watching this, listen, just understand, like, really take a hard look at your life and understand where you stand in the midst of, where you stand in your situation with your current husband and or boyfriend, because it may or may not be as good as you think it is, or it may be good as you think it is. You know what I mean? But be more, I say, alert to your situation. Be more aware. But, you know what I mean? Be more aware of your situation. Because, look, you may be on the tipping point of losing your man, or you may be, you may not be as invested or tied in as you think you are. Like, or you may just be lying to yourself or deluding yourself. The thing that kind of gets me upset sometimes watching women is that y'all will lie to yourselves and y'all will believe the lie you tell you. Like, but, whatever. This was a video I ran across maybe a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I've been holding on to this for a minute, man. I've been really wanting to do it because I found that content very interesting. With that being said, I'm going to take a nap. It's fucking Friday. I don't feel like giving a fuck about nobody and their feelings. I'm not finna kiss no ass. I'm just telling you right now. Like, if you think I'm finna be a motherfucker that's finna roll over for you and be less man, you might as well keep it where it's at. Like, I'm not no bitch ass nigga, and I'm not bending over. Like, motherfucker can have a conversation, but I'm not sucking no ass off of no woman to tell her what she want to hear. I'm not doing that. So with that being said, make the most of your Friday, goddammit, because I am. Finna take me a nap and watch some anime.